What's up? What's good? It's your boy and your favorite host, Tommy Springfield, aka the king of all things related to talk TV, radio, internet, house phone, cell phone, fax machine, text messages, emails. I don't care if you from the hood. I don't care if you from suburbia. I don't care if you speak English, Spanish, Chinese, Japanese. It don't matter. Whatever form of communication you use, we got you covered. It's only a few types of talk we don't do. We definitely don't pillow talk. We definitely not talking hate. And we definitely not dealing with them law enforcement. If you're new here, click that like, share, subscribe, hit the bell, click all so you can get notifications every time I drop these videos. And before we get into today's video, please, I just got one question. Can I talk to you? I don't think you heard me. I said, can I talk to ya? Today's video is about immigrants and all the crime and chaos that they're causing in America. And I blame the Democrats. See, the Democrats want to let them in. What was Donald Trump trying to do? Close up our borders and get rid of the immigrants. Now, 2 immigrants have killed a 12-year-old girl. And let's get into the story before I continue to give my opinion.
We begin with 2 men we're learning are charged with capital murder tonight, accused of killing a 12-year-old girl and leaving her body in a creek.
Fox 26's Jonathan Mejia is joining us live in North Houston with the latest on this story we're continuing to cover. Jonathan.
Houston police sharing more details about the horrific scene they found here near the creek, where they found 12-year-old Jocelyn, her dead body in a creek. Now we know that 2 Hispanic men are being charged with capital murder.
Hearing that the gentlemen that were in these surveillance videos, that they have been found and they've been caught and they've been taken in for questioning, it was the greatest news to hear this morning, to be woken up with.
The last few days have been surreal for Alexis Nungaray and her family. Her 12-year-old daughter, Jocelyn, was strangled and her body left in the creek.
It's just like, still just doesn't register. Just, I can't believe it's her. And it'll take some sinking in.
In a multi-division operation led by Houston police, 21-year-old Johan Jose Martinez and 26-year-old Franklin Pena Ramos, both Venezuelan natives, are now charged with capital murder.
Charges have been filed. Now we want the justice system to do its job. If there was ever a circumstance where you do not give someone bail, this is it.
Investigators did not go into specifics on how the suspects and Jocelyn met or how Jocelyn died, only offering that those details are still being investigated, but they have submitted for a sexual assault kit to be completed.
Suspects seen meeting the victim and talking for a few minutes while they were on Kirkendall. Later, the suspects and the victim walked together to a convenience store. After a few minutes, all 3 together walked to a bridge where ultimately Jocelyn was murdered.
Police.
All right. So we heard the story. We got 2 foreigners that killed this 12-year-old girl, right? There's a lot of ways I can go with this story. There's a lot of rabbit holes I can go down in this story, right? And I know this rabbit hole I'm choosing to go down is gonna upset some people, but why is this 12-year-old out here just walking the streets? And you heard her. She had a conversation with these 2 men. Then she left up the street with these 2 men, and then she came back with these 2 men. Now we seen the mother there singing a sad song on how she missing her baby. And did you notice the mother didn't really shed a tear? I'm just saying, I'm not against the mother. I'm not downing the girl for getting killed, but I'm just saying, a lot of things start far before where we end up at. And I believe this mother didn't have this 12-year-old on the leash because a 12-year-old little girl walked up the street with a 21-year-old, two 21-year-olds walked up the street, back down the street, and it led to her demise. At any point of the walking up and down the street, her parents came and looking for her, she would still be here. But I blame Democrats because they open the borders and they flood the gates, and you see it all over the country, New York and Boston and Texas and all the big cities. These immigrants are running them up. These immigrants are breaking the law. But y'all don't want Trump. But what was Trump trying to do? Close up the borders because he told you these men will come in and rape and kill kids. And I think Trump used that terminology exactly.
The men have been cooperative, and so has the family of Jocelyn's 13-year-old boyfriend, who was the last to speak to her on the phone. Alexis says if she could have...
See, that's another issue I have. I can't even play the rest of the video. I already got to an issue. This is the problem in America. They just said her 13-year-old boyfriend, she's 12. She doesn't need a boyfriend. She needs the parenting. Maybe if she had a parenting instead of a 13-year-old boyfriend, she will still be alive. And I'm just speaking facts. I just speak the truth here. I just give my opinion here. But I know people gonna turn it around and trying to say that I'm blaming her, but I'm blaming all those involved. All those involved.
That night back, she would have hugged her daughter and never let go.
I would have stayed up with her. I would have just lacked sleep.
This is your 12-year-old daughter. She was found strangled, left in a little string. Not a tear. Not a tear coming down her face. And I know people react differently. I believe I'm a strong man, and a lot of things is happening to me in my life or family members or friends, and I didn't shed a tear neither. So people react different, but this is a female. Mothers act different. That doesn't look like a person who's sad or who has been crying. Her face is not red. Her cheeks is not swollen. They're not red. It doesn't look like she cried once yet. Actually, that's a face of relief. Sheesh. Ain't gotta do that no more. I'm just saying, don't get mad at me. I'm just giving my opinion on what I see. If you see something different, you can get in the comment section. Like, share, subscribe, hit the bell, click all, and you can get notifications. Get in the comment section, or it's free. Start your own YouTube.
I would have gave her the biggest hug. Biggest hug. And I just...
Look like she's trying to force a cry. Biggest hug. No.
Probably wouldn't have let go.
We're waiting on Houston police to release an updated photo, the booking photos of the two men, so that we can bring you those up.
Shit, I just thought of another question. I'm sorry, folks. I can't let y'all watch the video. Excuse me. Did the mother say, if I knew that was going to be the last time I would have seen her, I would have gave her the biggest hug? Well, where the fuck was your 12-year-old going without you? So if you was hugging, if you wish you would have hugged her, you knew she was leaving, where was your 12-year-old going without you? Why was your 12-year-old comfortable talking to two 21-year-olds, walk down the street, then walk back down the street with them? Is that something she seen you do? Was you walking down the street with the little foreigners in the neighborhood? Was you doing that, baby girl? And that's why your daughter felt comfortable, because y'all knew them dudes? I don't know.
Images both on air and online at fox26houston.com. As for the immigration status of those two, we have reached out to Homeland Security to get confirmation if they're undocumented or not. I'm live in North Houston. Jonathan Mejia, Fox 26 News.
Still so many questions, Jonathan. Thanks for that report. You can stay up to date on this case on Fox Local. The free app is available for your smart TV. You can download it now.
But I could be wrong, but it doesn't matter. Because you had Donald Trump trying to lock up the borders, get rid of all immigrants, which is the right thing to do. You know, sometimes you got to clean up your own house first and get your own house in order before you start inviting people in. And one thing I learned from watching all these TV shows, you go into other countries, they are real strict. You ever see a show about Australia? Boy, you tell them anything that is different than what's on your paperwork, you ain't getting in. You ain't getting in. But America, we just let everybody in, and everybody is okay with that. Nah, that's the problem in America. But let's get some more information on why the Democrats is responsible for this little girl being killed.
Case of Jocelyn Nungaray and the arrest and charging of Johan Jose Martinez-Rangel and Franklin Pena. Today, was it Pena that was? Franklin Pena was arraigned. His bond set at $10 million. The charge is capital murder of a child between 10 and 15 years old. At this time, the current charge does not carry death penalty eligibility. However, it is important for the public and the press to know that the investigation is ongoing, that forensics and lab work are required in this case, and unlike on television, they can't do it in an hour. So we look forward to the results of the tests that are being run on the evidence in the case. And should those tests produce evidence that would support.
Real quick, I'm glad she cleared that up, because you know you're gonna have a lot of dumb people in America be like, oh, but did they run tests? And yeah, that's only on your favorite TV show. It get done within an hour. That's not real. That's not how it works in America. But let's continue.
A charge of sexual assault, or should other evidence be brought forward that supports the charge of kidnapping, both underlying offenses would make this capital murder and these individuals death penalty eligible. Make no mistake, this is a horrific crime. And when we take charges, we do it based on the evidence we have at the moment. We look forward to working with our lab, continuing to work with our investigators, and it's obvious that Jocelyn had a loving family. The support that they've shown will continue because their daughter, like all of our children, was...
Once again, this is a tragic incident. I hope them dudes burn in hell, right? But once again, I'm tired of families showing up after the incident, whether it's your child being killed or whether your sons are gangbangers and they killing other black people or other Latins, and you show up in court and you're like, I love you. And where are y'all people before these situations happen? Who allowed this 12-year-old just to be running up and down the street? Who allowed this 12-year-old to be so comfortable to walk up, as they say, have a conversation with two 21-year-olds, go back up the street, come back down the street? And if I'm correct, they might have went to the package store. So was this 12-year-old going to drink and smoke? She doesn't look like it. But what did she have in common to talk to these two men and walk willingly up the street? Because no one said she kicked and dragged. They kicked and dragged her and chased her up the street. But they did some horrible things. Let's listen.
One of our most vulnerable citizens. And we have to protect our most valuable resources, our kids. So our hearts go out to the Nungaray family. I want to bring up at this time Alexis Nungaray, Jocelyn's mother, for a few words to you. If there are questions about the case that we can answer, then our lead prosecutor, Megan Long, will be available to answer it. She is assisted by Elizabeth Lieberman, who is here, but in the back. These are the prosecutors who will be handling the case. They'll be back tomorrow for the arraignment of the second defendant, Johan Jose Martinez-Rangel. Alexis?
First and last name spelling?
Yes, first name is Megan, Megan. Last name is Long, Long.
Sorry, folks, I keep yawning. It's a little late over here. My fault. I just found this story before I was about to lay down for the night.
Okay. I thank everybody for being here to make notice.
I'm sorry once again if you made it this long in the video. Is it me? Well, I said it earlier in the video. This lady doesn't look like she's been crying. She looked more like she's playing a role. She looked more like she's trying to look like she's been down and out and been crying. Seriously, she look like she been on the low freaking. Seriously, she look like she been on the low taking some D. Straight up, she don't look like there's no redness, there's no puffy eye, there's no puffy cheeks. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Get in the comment section, say, hey, King of Talk, you a piece of shit for this one. But I'm just calling what I see. Y'all see red eyes? Y'all see puffy cheeks? I see someone playing a role.
National notice for my daughter. She was amazing. I still see her face in the back of my head every day, all day. Keep getting little signs about her throughout the days, and it's
Did you get a sign that you should be watching your 12-year-old? Did you get a sign that the 12-year-old is out here conversating with 21-year-old men and walking to the corner store or to the package store with them and then going back? Because if you're getting signs, they late. But who am I? I'm just a good dude from the hood with 2 kids, and I got a daughter, and I hound my kids, and I watch over my kids, and I try to protect my kids. I just thought everybody else do the same thing.
This has been a very, very hard time for me and my family, but the amount of support I've been getting from everybody is it's very it's from the bottom of my heart, so appreciated.
Go ahead and try to cry, girl.
I hear her sayings just replaying over and over on in a loop.
Yeah, she probably in the loop saying, Mommy, you ain't shit. Mommy, I'm hungry. Mommy, I'm this. Mommy, I'm that. Because I'm not buying your act, baby girl. I am not buying this.
My brain, her dorkiness, her quirkiness, she definitely made people laugh. She's I'm always gonna remember those memories because
but then again, I get it, because if this is your family in the back, y'all all look like y'all trying to cry and don't have tears. So maybe no tears just running y'all family. Maybe y'all the no tears family. I don't know, but I know in the black family, it may not be me, or it may be me, but in the black family, somebody gonna be distraught. Somebody gonna be making the food, and it's definitely gonna be church up in there. It's gonna be some, oh, my baby this, and somebody in the background gonna be like, oh, you Lord, yes, Lord, yes, Lord, and it just ain't no motion over here. I'm just calling it how I see it. Ain't no motion in this family.
She had such a bright future ahead of her, and I knew she was going to go very far. And
she possibly and could have had a bright future, but it was you that was in the way. It was you who wasn't doing what you were supposed to. It was you who probably was in the crib doing some bullshit and not keeping the eye on your baby, and she went down the street, ran into the two grown men, went back up the street, and then went back down the street. Did she pass your home in the going up and down the street and you still didn't call her? I don't know. Could possibly be. Not blaming her, just calling it how I see it. I'm biased. I don't have no bone in this fight.
You know, these monsters took that opportunity from her, from our family, of watching her. And I just want people to remember, I know this is very high profile case, but she was still my firstborn. I was a teen mom. I fought for her at 15. So 27 now, I'm still fighting for her. And just remember that she was a very special little girl that deserves her justice. And I know she's going to make a difference in this world for all children. And now it's my job to make sure it continues to happen. So I just want to say thank you.
She's gonna make a difference in the world for all children. I'm lost with that statement. I don't understand what she means. I don't get where she's trying to go. But in 2024, parents gotta start taking accountability for your kids out here gang banging, shooting and looting, selling these drugs, and you got to get a hold of these little girls that's getting intertwined with grown ass men. Now these men is 100% guilty. Don't get me wrong. But why was this little girl so comfortable talking to two grown men and walking up the street with them and then walking back down the street with them? That's all my question is. Excuse me again for the yawning, sorry.
The judge set a bond at $10 million. This was higher than what the district attorney's office asked for. Were you surprised by this, and what's your reaction to the judge's decision?
Well, my reaction is that I support bonds that are sufficient to hold high-risk defendants in custody while they're charged with violent crimes and awaiting trial. We need faster trials, and that's part of why we created a homicide division and asked the legislature to prioritize murders and capital murders, which they did. So we're supportive of the bond that was set. We'll ask for the same bond for the co-defendant tomorrow. And as soon as our lab results are back, and if they support a death penalty eligible type of capital murder, then we'll come back and ask for no bond.
Talk about the death penalty from 10 to 15 years old and how that impacts the district attorney's office when trying these cases, how there isn't eligible for a death penalty for some reason, this age restriction from 10 to 15 years old.
Our laws treat the age of victims differently, and they've changed where they draw the line. Used to be children under 6 if they were murdered. That created an underlying offense that would support death penalty in capital murder. That law was expanded to 10 years old and under, and then further expanded from 10 to 15 if the victim was 10 to 15 years old. Yet death penalty was taken off the table by the legislature, and instead they suggested that life without parole would be the appropriate charge. But age is not the only consideration in this case or any case. The underlying actions of the criminals. This victim was found, bound and without clothing from the waist down in the water. And we just think that there's a good possibility. We hope that there's evidence that remains to be tested.
So, before I get up out of here, I just want to say a vote for Joe Biden is a vote saying you comfortable what happened with this little girl. A vote for the Democrats is saying you're comfortable what's happening in New York. You're comfortable what's happening in Boston. You're comfortable with what's happening in Houston. You're comfortable what's happening all over Texas. You're comfortable what's happening in Florida and all major big cities, Democratic cities across America that's housing all these immigrants, that's causing all this mayhem, this crime, and this destruction. Just remember that. Just think back. Remember what Trump was trying to do? Close the borders. I think he used something. He said something about they're gonna rape and kill, and people went crazy. What are the immigrants here doing now? Raping and killing. If you're a supporter of the channel, much love and respect. Hit that like, share, subscribe, hit the bell so you can get notifications every time I drop one of these videos.
The suspects knew Jocelyn, or they lived in the same area, maybe crossed paths at any time?
No.
Do you know why, at that 10 to 15 age range, why, that particular age is
No, you would have to ask the legislators who passed that bill. I think they were expanding law and order, and they wanted the most vulnerable victims to be better protected, but for some reason took death penalty off the table. I don't know why.
High-profile case. Can you talk about what direction or advice you give the prosecutors if you're handling something this high-profile, or what your expectations are for them? It's this much attention.
So let me take just a minute to brag on the prosecutors that we've carved out to serve in.
Well, as you can see, this 12-year-old girl was murdered by these two immigrants. We don't know if they was legal or illegal. Thank the Democrats, because they flooded our country with illegals all over the place, all in our major cities. They're causing crime and mayhem. Just remember, when you get in that booth and vote, if you vote Democrat, you're saying you're okay with this type of stuff. If you're a supporter of the channel, much love and respect goes out to you. I salute. And if you're one of them haters and one of them Democrats that support this, cut the shit.